Hello and welcome to the Spiritual 9 to 5 podcast, hosted by myself, Marie Groover of The Corporate Psychic. I'm here today to talk about life after Microsoft, what I've been up to, what it feels like to go from corporate to running my own business full time, and what I've learned so far. July 6, 2022 was technically my last day at Microsoft. It was also my 7-year anniversary, and it was the eve of my 32nd birthday. It felt like a big day, but in truth, I had been off work since the end of May 25th to be exact. So it was a rather slow boil to the actual crossing of the finish line. But right around my last working day, I took a weekend to meet Sol Spear in person for the first time. Sol is the founder and CEO of Dawning Digital, who I've had the amazing pleasure of working with on the development of TCP's V1 website and brand. Together, we talked work, we reflected deeply, we scootered all over DC, and we created and executed our own mini tour of psychics in the area. It was a dream. The day I got back, I went for a run, and around 2.5 miles away from my home, my hands started itching, my face went numb, my feet started itching, and then my body started going numb. My vision blurred, and by the time I called 911, I could barely use my fingers or see what was in front of me. I sat on the side of the road and I worried that I might die. I knew that if I didn't die, that something serious was wrong with me, and that perhaps it was a mistake to leave a secure job with secure and amazing health benefits. I live alone, and I'm about 45 minutes away from the town where most of my friends and family live. And because it was so late by the time I was rushed to the nearby hospital, I didn't actually call anyone to let them know what had happened or to ask even for a ride home. I was still in such shock, and I had no answers for myself or to give anyone else, and I didn't know how to explain, nor did I want to be a burden, so I Ubered home. Let me tell you, that was weird. So a week later, equipped with an EpiPen that I didn't even know I needed, I jetted off to Mexico with 3 girlfriends for a proper week off, filled with surfing, exploring, and feeling wonderfully guilty for doing and enjoying nothing productive. You see, since I started TCP, I have to admit that I hadn't taken any real or serious time off at all. And taking some time in Mexico while severing my Microsoft career, it felt really weird. It was the start to a new chapter, and yet I was still pretty shook. I had no idea what was going on with my body. I was terrified that even taking 1 week off would kill my business. And I was leaving my job of 7 years. Leaving corporate as I knew it after being in it for 10 plus years. It could have been relaxing, but everything just felt so big, so vast, and so unknown. Coming back felt even weirder. I had some things to take care of in my hometown, and then I traveled to my sweet man's home to rest, to recover, and to build out my van, Granny. My van, if you don't know, is a 1995 Toyota Town Ace with 4-wheel drive, and the plan was to road trip slowly to Maine and make our way back down the coast, and for me to take some time off. I was reading a book called How to Do Nothing by Jenny Odell, highly recommend, by the way. And with the way I was feeling about it, Mexico was a cakewalk. But somewhere around Acadia National Park, I did eventually settle into the vast being of simply being. We got back home to the beach right around July 4th, and I wrapped my last official day at Microsoft without being able to fully access any of the internal resources because it had been so long since I logged in with my credentials. So I simply double-checked that I had completed my exit checklist, and I sent off a very big email to some of the amazing folks who I had the honor to know, and that was that. If you are a colleague at Microsoft that used to work with me and you happen to be listening to this, I want to say thank you. And I also, for anyone and everyone listening, want to say that I had planned to really stretch out and almost like market the leaving of my career. I wanted to tell everyone, I wanted to meet with everyone, I wanted to share so much of what was going on with everyone through a series of emails, not just like one bang and I'm out. But considering what was happening in my body, what was happening in my mind, it felt like I left the way that I had to. And so the very next day, I celebrated my 32nd birthday. And I kicked off a group mentorship course and container called the Quantum Leap with 21 amazing souls. And I spent the month of July learning how to reintegrate a loose structure into my day, as well as continuing to pour into myself restfully and developmentally. It's now the end of August, and I'm finally settled in. I feel like I have made it. I feel like I have tasted my dream life, and I have some learnings that I want to share with it. First, it's not as scary as it seems. Not having a steady paycheck is not as scary as it seems. It's actually quite exciting because at the present, I can get paid at literally any moment, whereas in corporate or working for an employer, there's like a pay cycle, right? And it's really nice to get a steady paycheck. I'm not going to lie, that felt really good, but it's actually more exciting to literally make money at any time. Second, it's underrated. And in fact, it's not even mentioned, definitely not mentioned enough, the amount of processing and shedding and integration that's required when you lay down a former version of yourself, when you quit your job, for example, when you leave your 9 to 5, specifically when you lay down a version of yourself who had been conditioned to live a life dictated by productivity. In June of 2021, I would have surfed, worked a full 8 to 10 hour day, guided a TCP session or two, and posted to social media on top of probably writing and publishing a blog or an article. In July, August of 2022, today times, I take no more than 3 calls a day. Sometimes I market, sometimes I rest. Sometimes I think about strategy, but mostly I read, I write, I walk. I watch the sunset, and I do the things that I desire in order to lovingly take care of myself. When I start to feel the pressure again, I pause and ask myself, what is the most loving thing I can do for myself right now? And then I do that. And so I say, if you're considering a shift out of corporate, or even a shift in employers, a shift in industries, a shift in your career, whatever, I highly recommend that you take some serious time. I'm not talking like 4 days. I'm not talking a week. I'm not talking 2 weeks. I'm talking serious time, a month, 2 months for yourself if you can. And to not fill it up with checklists of things to do. To instead fill it with the excruciating discomfort of nothing at all and watch how your entire being becomes whole again. Third, I kind of already said this, but I'll say it directly. Human productivity is overrated. Productivity in general is overrated. My mantra for months now has been do less, make more, shamelessly. The shameless part has taken some work. Thank you, coaching. But the medicine is learning how you can nourish yourself and let that be the guiding principle of your life, of your work, of your business. You don't have to do it all. And doing it all is actually not even going to be the things that move the needle. What I've come to learn is that when I nourish myself, I nourish my business, that I can grow immensely in rest, and so too can my business, that I can drop almost all the balls, and the world is still spinning. I am still me. My work still exists. My business doesn't fall apart. People don't stop showing up. Whatever it is that feels uber important, high priority, needs to happen for yourself, for your job, for your family, I challenge you to take your hand out of it for any amount of time and watch life work itself out. You are so much less pivotal in the grand scheme of things than you think. And allow that to free you. I know that's really scary. Like, we want to be in control because it means we're important, right? But we're so much less needed than we think we are. And it's such a beautiful and freeing thing. Embrace it and allow yourself to just be from time to time. You don't even have to do it all the time. Fourth, building off of this, when you allow yourself to just be, the to-do list, the things you've been telling yourself you want to do or work on, the things that you say you want to do but you don't have time to do, or like aren't working out for you, or like you feel like you have responsibilities to other things so you can't do those things. All of those things, the things that you really want to do but haven't, they all take care of themselves. My business manager and I were talking actually, and she was sharing with me that she was feeling personal development burnout about a month or two ago. Together, we made a pact to let everything drop and just see what happens, to bask in the nothingness as an experiment. And a couple of weeks ago, we connected again, and not surprisingly at all, everything that was on her list to work on, she completed. Without the list, without the nagging feeling in the back of her mind. You know why? Because sometimes when we lessen the pressure, when we loosen our grips, we realize that we actually desire to do the things that are good for us. And when we create the space for ourselves to just be, we be exactly who we want to become. But that comes of letting go of whoever it is you believe you are and letting go of whatever it is you believe you have to do. And allowing yourself to trust yourself because you've got your back. Okay, 5. And last thing for now. A little bit of structure, as long as you're not married to it, can actually be a really good thing. Some of you are laughing because some of you guys live in structure. And if you're like me, I'm not a super structured person. I don't thrive with structure, although I've lived the past 10 plus years of my life in a lot of structure. And so I personally needed things to be a little loosey-goosey for a while. I needed to sit in the discomfort of vast nothingness to be reminded of who I was, to be reminded of what I was here to do, and to remember what I set out to accomplish with TCP in the first place. It can be really overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. And now I have a general weekly flow. It's not rigid, but it acts as a guide when I'm feeling lost. Oh, it's a Monday and I woke up less than inspired? Cool. It's content creation day. So after my slow, peaceful morning with the ocean or my partner or at the local coffee shop, I'm online by 10 and I'm writing, whether I want to or not. Tuesdays are recording days. It's a Tuesday right now. While I'm speaking, you may or may not be listening to this on a Tuesday. It's also pitch days, and it's meet with my lovely business manager to make sure I'm not missing anything days. Wednesdays are split between TCP work and TCP clients. Thursdays are dedicated to clients and any admin that comes with it, so invoicing, calendar management. This is the day that I aspire to reach inbox 0. And no, I don't do that every single day. And by don't do that, I mean I don't check my email even every single day. Fridays are for special projects, my personal development and coaching, and for me, whatever my heart wants to work on. And sometimes that's nothing. Generally, I don't touch my computer until 10 a.m. and I'm off by 2 or 3 unless I'm hosting a masterclass or event in the evening or unless I'm really feeling it. As I said earlier, I spend a ton of time reading, reflecting, daydreaming, and of course, surfing when there are waves. I value my time over all else, and to be honest, it has only done wonders for my health, for my happiness, and also for my business. So that's it. That's pretty much what I've been up to since I left Microsoft. I'm now preparing to host a group mastermind called the Quantum Sessions, which is a high-level, high-touch group mentorship program posing this question: what would happen if I show up in my business, I being you, my business being your business or idea? What would happen if you showed up consistently in your work and with immense support for 12 full months? My hypothesis is that whatever you think is possible for you, you can 10 times it. I would have never imagined that I would be where I am today, a year before now. And if I had, I probably would have reached higher. But I have to admit, I'm living the dream, and every single day it gets better and better. If you're building a business and ready to scale to sustainability, I would love to hold you through 12 months of dedication in this program. Info to apply is in the show description. And thank you for joining me through this episode of The Spiritual 9 to 5. If it resonated, if you can think of one person who may relate or be inspired, please like the show, rate it, and share it. This podcast is a direct piece of my heart and soul, and I am so honored that you chose to be here with me today. Until we meet again, and with heaps of love, ciao.